Today, we are going to pull back the curtain on one of the greatest and most invisible feats of modern engineering. We're talking about the journey electricity takes from a power plant hundreds of miles away right into the device you're using to watch this. It all happens at pretty much the speed of light, so let's jump right in. You flip a switch and boom, the lights come on. It feels so simple, so instantaneous, doesn't it? But what you're actually doing is completing the very last link in an incredible chain reaction that probably started hundreds of miles from where you are right now.
That one simple flick of a switch is the finish line for an absolutely epic trip, a high-speed, high-voltage journey of transformation. So let's trace it all the way back. Let's start at the very beginning.
Okay, our journey begins where the power is literally born, inside these massive generating stations. This is ground zero. It's the heart of the entire power system, where raw energy gets converted into the electricity that, runs our entire world.
So inside these plants, energy from sources like coal or natural gas or nuclear power gets turned into electricity. Now, the key thing to know is that it's created with this steady, rhythmic pulse. In many parts of the world, that's a standardized frequency of 50 hertz. Think of it like a heartbeat for the entire grid. It has to be consistent for everything to work, and it all starts at a very specific voltage.
And that starting voltage? It's right around 11,000 volts. Now that sounds like a lot, right? But for the cross-country trip this power is about to take, it's really just the starting point. To go the distance, it needs a serious boost. So how in the world do you get all that power from the generating station out to the cities and towns? Well, you put it on the electric superhighway. This is the long-haul network, the absolute backbone of the entire grid. And that highway analogy is just perfect. Seriously. Just like our interstate system is designed to move cars efficiently over long distances, the national grid is built for one thing, moving huge amounts of electrical power over vast distances with as little quote-unquote traffic or energy loss as possible.
Now here's the really clever part. If you try to send 11,000 volts over hundreds of miles, it's kind of like trying to push water through a really long, leaky garden hose. You'd lose most of your energy as heat. The solution? You use something called a step-up transformer. It dramatically increases the voltage, which is like cranking up the water pressure, allowing the electricity to just flow super efficiently with almost no loss.
And when I say they crank it way up, I am not kidding. We're talking all the way up to 500,000 volts. That is a nearly 50 times increase from where we started. That is the kind of immense electrical pressure you need to push power across an entire country. So how do you even handle that much power? With some pretty incredible engineering. I mean, you've seen these towers everywhere, right? Those thick cables hanging from the crossarms, those are the conductors carrying all that power. But see those stacks of ceramic discs? Those are giant insulators, and they are the only thing stopping 500,000 volts from jumping straight to the tower. And that thin little wire at the very top, that's basically a lightning rod, there to protect the whole critical system.
And just to give you a sense of the sheer scale we are talking about here, the tallest of these towers are truly monumental. They can reach heights that rival some of the world's most famous skyscrapers. Just an enormous structure, all to get electricity from point A to point B.
Okay, so the power has made it across the country on the superhighway. Now it needs to take the right exit ramp and actually make its way to your neighborhood. This is where we get into the distribution phase.
Obviously, right? We can't send 500,000 volts down a residential street. That would be bad. So now the whole process has to happen in reverse. At a series of substations, big transformers step the voltage down in stages. First, that bulk power is knocked down to a more manageable 33,000 volts. Then, at a local substation, it gets stepped down again to 11,000 volts to be sent out along your streets.
And how your neighborhood is actually wired makes a huge difference. A simple radial system is cheaper to build, but if one line breaks, poof, everyone downstream loses power. A ring system, on the other hand, is more expensive, but it creates a backup path. If one line goes down, power just gets rerouted the other way, and you probably never even notice. It's that classic engineering trade-off, cost versus reliability.
Okay, we've made it from the superhighway to the local streets. Now for the grand finale, the final destination. Where does all this electricity actually go?
In the world of electricity, all the end users, that's you and me and everyone else, are simply called loads. And as you can see, they fall into a few main categories: our homes, businesses and shops, giant factories, and even city services like streetlights. We're all drawing power from the same grid.
And what's fascinating is that each of these loads has its own daily rhythm. Residential power use, our homes, it spikes in the evening when we all get home from work. Commercial use, well, that makes sense. It peaks during business hours. And municipal loads, like streetlights, create this steady demand all through the night. Juggling all these different peaks and valleys is one of the grid's biggest daily challenges.
And here we are, the finish line. At the very last step, there's a small transformer, maybe on a pole or in a green box on the ground near your house, and it takes that 11,000 volts and steps it down one final time to the safe, usable 240 volts that comes out of your wall socket.
So think about that. The next time you plug something in, just remember this incredible journey. From 500,000 volts coursing through those massive steel towers, stepped down again and again, all the way to the 240 volts that safely charges your phone. It is an incredible feat of engineering, happening silently and invisibly every single second of every day.
You know, this grid was an absolute marvel of the 20th century. But as we look to a future with electric cars, massive data centers, and a lot more unpredictable renewable energy, the real question is, can this incredible, invisible system be redesigned to power the 21st century and beyond?